Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital spoilers, Sasha Gilmore Corbin and Willow Corinthos are about to have a heated argument. Some harsh words and angry accusations will be exchanged, so let's discuss what's in store for Willow and Sasha on May 9th. Sasha and Willow formerly had a solid friendship, but it's clearly been shattered. Willow and Sasha can no longer be in the same room without fighting, so it's unsurprising that they'll fight when they meet again. When Sasha meets Willow, tension quickly rises. It will be interesting to watch who attacks first and initiates another round of warfare between them. Regardless, the subject of Drew Kane will undoubtedly come up during this confrontation. Sasha may take a shot or two at Willow for sticking by Drew despite his public disgrace. Perhaps Sasha would accuse Willow of doing it to save face, or say that she is deluding herself into believing Drew is innocent in order to justify her affair. After Willow threw away her marriage to Michael Corinthos, Sasha may believe Willow is clinging to the image of Drew as her knight in shining armor, despite his actions proving otherwise. Fans of General Hospital know Nina Reeves set Drew up with the help of Portia Robinson and Jacinda, but Sasha may believe Drew simply revealed his true colors. Whatever the situation, Sasha will undoubtedly defend Michael throughout the upcoming hot scenes, but she must exercise caution. Michael also cheated on Sasha and got her pregnant with his child, but Willow is still unaware of this. Sasha doesn't need to be antagonizing Willow or raising questions about her unborn child's paternity. Sasha has successfully sold Jason Morgan as her fictitious baby daddy, but how long can they keep up the ruse? Regardless, Willow is unlikely to discover the truth just yet, but it will be fun to watch her compete with Sasha as the week of May 5th to 9th comes to a close. According to General Hospital spoilers, Sasha may foretell Drew shattering Willow's heart in the end, so stay tuned for any heartbreaking news. Brooke Lynn tells Tracy almost everything about her baby, and Drew suspects he knows who drugged him. Friday, May 2nd, 2025. Today on General Hospital, Joss steals Emma's flash drive, Rocco overindulges at the beach party, and Carly and Nina try to discourage Willow from forgiving Drew. Carly arrives at Nina's and expresses her amazement at how she came through for them, presuming the footage of Drew was solely Nina's responsibility. They sit down and Nina describes the original plan, which went awry when Jacinda and Drew caused a commotion at the Savoy. Willow then discovered what appeared to be Drew in bed with Jacinda. Nina knew it had to be done, but she blames herself for hurting Willow. Carly knows what it's like to discover your spouse in bed with another woman, but it had to be done. Now Michael and Willow can sort things out. Nina fears that will not happen. Nina explains that Drew tried to persuade Willow that he doesn't remember anything, and now he's going to undergo a blood test that will reveal ketamine in his system. Carly informs her she should have used a different medicine, one that leaves the bloodstream rapidly. She argues that this will make Drew an even bigger victim in Willow's eyes, thus bringing Willow closer to Drew. Planning for the nurses' ball. Lucy works in the Quartermaine kitchen with Lois and Maxie to arrange the nurses' ball. Lucy wonders whether there is a way to keep Carly backstage out of their hair all night. Maxie and Lois' eyes popped out. Maxie points out that it's Carly's hotel, and Lois replies they can hear her no matter where she is. Lucy is concerned that Carly will cause a commotion with Drew and Willow, but Maxie reassures Lucy that she has caused more scenes at the ball than anybody else. Lucy exits and Lois talks to Maxie about Brooke Lynn. She expresses gratitude for being a good friend to her kid, and says she will need her relationship now more than ever. Brooke Lynn leaves Tracy in tears and stunned in the living room after revealing that she had a baby in high school, and gave it up for adoption. Brooke Lynn explains that until recently, her mom was the only one who knew. Tracy apologizes for lying to her grandmother, but she claims she did not. Brooke Lynn claims she attempted for years to forget about her son, and was unaware of his existence until lately. Lulu told her, and Tracy learns how she broke into Martin's room to get dirt on Valentine and discovered her baby. Tracy wonders how Martin got involved. Brooke Lynn explains that her mother spoke with him to ensure that the adoption remained sealed. She goes on to explain how Lulu confronted her and accused her of doing everything wrong, and that the father had a right to know. Maybe she should have told him, but she was too terrified. Tracy advises her not to second-guess herself. She inquires as to whether she intended to abandon the child. Does she regret her decision? Brooklyn does, but she also understands that she was an adolescent, and raising a child would have been extremely difficult. She realized she wasn't ready to be a mother, and Lois was there for her. She wanted to offer her child a better life than she had as a teen. Tracy feels she made a responsible decision, and is proud of herself. Brooklyn resorted to her mother, who turned to her own mother for assistance, as she recently discovered. She also knows that her mother had to help her give up her own grandchild. Tracy occasionally tells her how strong she is, and she has always considered herself the best of the Quartermaines. She also informs Brooklyn that she does not owe it to Ned to tell him about the baby, and that she did not have to, but she appreciates her doing so. Tracy has to wonder, given what she and Chase are going through, has she been tempted to find her son? Brooklyn has, but the goal is to provide him a better life. The only way she'll see her son is if he comes looking for her, but Lulu believes she should inform everyone. Tracy understands that Lulu, like her father, can be pompous and stubborn. Tracy sobs heartbroken that Brooklyn was too terrified to tell her, and vows never to doubt her love for her. They embrace. Later, Lois meets Tracy to discuss the nurse's ball. Tracy just wants to talk about one thing, where her great-grandson is. Back in the kitchen, Brooklyn is relieved to see Maxie after dealing with Quartermaine's insane behavior. Maxie wonders whether she can help. Brooklyn claims she cannot confide in Maxie until she chooses a side. Is she her buddy or Lulu's? Brooklyn adds that things have escalated to the point where Maxie must make a decision. Brooklyn walks away, leaving Maxie dumbfounded. Drew gets tested. Drew thanks Willow for accompanying him to the hospital, and promises to find out what's going on. When Amy notices them, she gossips with another nurse about why Willow is with Drew, and whether he is here to get tested for STIs. Amy later apologizes to Willow for what transpired. She claims she can do far better than stay with a dishonest man. Willow tells her to stop chatting and return to work. Drew returns from having his blood drawn and thanks Willow once more for her support. Isaiah appears and explains that Drew has ketamine in his system. Drew admits he was drugged and asks Willow if she believes him. She does, and he praises her since it means a lot to him. She just wants to get home, so he tells her to take his car since he has business to take care of. She assures him she'll see him at their house and kisses his cheek. Willow departs and Drew spots Mac and Felicia. Drew speaks with Mac about reporting a crime and shows him his blood work results, which indicate he was drugged. Mac inquires about the last person he remembers being with. Drew has a foggy memory of Tracy. Back at Nina's, she warns Carly that the more they put pressure on Drew, the more likely he is to make a mistake. Carly believes she must persuade Willow that Drew took those drugs and cheated, since if she does not divorce Drew, Michael will never allow her to raise her children with him. Nina refuses to push Willow, fearing that she may become suspicious. Willow just steps in the door. Lulu confesses her feelings to Dante. At Lulu's, Dante requests that she listen to him. He claims that she already won big with the Drew tale, and does not need the adoption narrative. He asks her to write about something different. Lulu refuses to allow Brooklyn determine who and what she writes about. She will not jeopardize her profession for Brooklyn's sake. Dante informs her that Chase and Brooklyn are his friends, and they are struggling. He reminds her of their own fertility issues and how difficult it was for them. Lulu knows she wouldn't have gotten it through that period without him. Lulu explains that this is an important story that must be told. She questions why Brooklyn's needs are more essential than her own. Brooklyn is not a damsel in distress, and if Dante knew what she knew, he knows she's upset about his fling with BLQ that he didn't tell her about, but this isn't about Brooklyn. He believes it is due to the fact that she is still in love with him. Lulu initially denies it, but finally concedes it is real and wonders who informed him. Dante claims it doesn't matter, and that he should not have said anything. She says he did, so let's discuss. Dante is relieved she's back, but she's been driving him crazy since she awoke. He spoke with Maxie, who told him that Lulu had broken up with Dustin to be with him just before falling into a coma. He assumed she'd gone on with Dustin, and he never knew how she felt. He unexpectedly fell in love with Sam. He asks Lulu if she believes he should have waited for him. Lulu says she wasn't expecting him to wait and is grateful Sam was there for him and Rocco. It comes out that she is jealous of Sam, not Brooklyn. Sam is the woman who died to save her, which makes her feel terrible. Lulu adds that she is trying to move on, but she sometimes feels caught in the past, and the truth is that she is still in love with him while he is in love with Sam. Dante admits he's still in love with her. Emma, Joss, and Gio are at the beach party when Vaughn, who is wet and shirtless, arrives. He claims that he is not at the party and was simply out for his nightly swim. Emma claims the water must be freezing, but he insists it's good for your circulation. He proposes she join him, and Emma asks Gio if he is interested. Emma is unconcerned about Joe's lack of a swimsuit. Gio and Emma decide to go for it, strip down to their underwear and jump in with Vaughn. Joss then searches Emma's clothes and steals her flash drive. Gio, Vaughn, and Emma eventually emerge from the water, and Joss reappears with the flash disc. Vaughn offers they warm up over the bonfire, but Emma prefers to get dressed first. Joss throws Vaughn a look since she can't get the drive back into Emma's jeans. Also at the party, Rocco and Danny get some red Solo cups of liquor. Danny advises him he doesn't have to drink it, simply hold it to blend in. They spoke to a handful of PCU girls. Danny explains that they are new freshmen. Rocco is nervous and starts drinking the poison punch. Danny ends up departing with the two females to play beach volleyball, leaving Rocco to continue drinking. Meanwhile, a newly dressed Vaughn and Joss discuss what to do about Emma and the flash drive. Joss made a copy, and she must return this disc to Emma because it contains her data, which she ruined. Vaughn says she'll have to place it on Emma, so Joss asks if he knows how. Joss realizes Danny is right behind them, and they both fear. Joss informs him neither of them were present. Danny says deal and walks away. Vaughn asks Joss whether he would be a problem, but Joss replies he does not want his father to know he was drinking at a college party. Later, Emma and Gio approach Joss and inquire as to what Joss and Aquaman were discussing. The episode concludes with Rocco knocked out drunk on the beach. The tension between Sasha and Willow had been building for weeks, a slow-burning fuse that ultimately exploded in a fight that astonished everyone around them. What began as a friendly conversation suddenly turned into a heated argument, with both women refusing to back down. The air was thick with animosity, each statement sharper than the last, as years of hidden grudges sprang to the surface. It had all started innocently enough, a simple argument about a shared project. However, the conversation quickly veered into personal area. Sasha, her voice oozing with disgust, accused Willow of constantly playing the victim. You act like the world is against you, but the truth is you just can't handle competition, Sasha snarled, her eyes flashing with barely held rage. Willow, never one to back down from a confrontation, hit back immediately. Oh, that's rich coming from you. You've been undermining me from day one, always whispering behind my back like a coward. The charges came quick and furious, each one hitting like a well-placed punch. Sasha grumbled and crossed her arms. Please, you're just mad because you can't control everything. Not everyone is going to bow down to you, Willow. Willow's cheeks flushed with rage as she drew closer, her voice low but seething. And not everyone is fooled by your fake charm, Sasha. People are starting to see right through you. The hatred between them was apparent, and their mutual dislike was now on display for all to see. Friends and coworkers who had known them for years watched in stunned silence, unsure whether to intervene or let them talk it out. There was no disputing that this was more than a trivial disagreement. Years of rivalry, envy, and whispered grievances had finally come to light. Sasha twisted her lips into a mocking smile. Willow's hands squeezed into fists at her sides. You always have to be the center of attention, don't you? Even now you're loving this drama. You don't know anything about me. The only thing you care about is yourself. The words hung in the air, heavy with finality. There was no going back from this. Whatever tenuous ceasefire they had previously managed had now been destroyed beyond repair. The consequences of their confrontation were immediate. Whispers spread through their social circle, and people took sides, putting old ties to the test. Some supported Sasha, claiming Willow had always been overly pushy. Others supported Willow, accusing Sasha of manipulation and deception. The separation simply widened the schism, transforming what was once a private feud into a public spectacle. In the days that followed, neither woman showed signs of giving up. If anything, their rage seemed to worsen. According to the General Hospital recap for Friday, May 2nd, Drew Kane's memory elevates Tracy Quartermaine to the top drugging suspect list. Carly Spencer also issued a warning to Nina Reeves. So here's how Friday's action played out. Carly was impressed by Nina's ability to bring Drew down, but Nina admitted there was a problem because Willow Corinthos went with Drew to get a blood test. Carly received updates on Drew's ketamine levels, and believed Nina should have arranged for a medicine that would go through his bloodstream more quickly. Drew may now appear to be a victim, drawing Willow in closer. When Drew arrived at GH with Willow, Nurse Amy Driscoll discussed him with another staff member. Amy questioned Willow about whether she was going to stay with Drew, but Willow said it was none of Amy's business. When Isaiah Gannon brought Drew's blood test results, there was evidence of ketamine in his system. Willow, who still appeared overwhelmed, admitted she felt Drew had been drugged and agreed to meet him at home later. Willow kissed Drew on the cheek before leaving. Drew observed Mac Scorpio approaching and decided to stop him and report a crime. Mac learned about the ketamine and pondered about the last person Drew remembered seeing. Drew recalled sitting at a table with Tracy at the Port Charles Grill, albeit with fuzzy memories. Back with Carly, she pressed Nina to persuade Willow that Drew willingly used drugs and cheated on her. Carly had informed Willow that Michael Corinthos would never allow her to raise his children with Drew, so Nina's next move was critical. Nina was concerned about pushing too hard and making Willow suspicious. Willow walked through the door just as Carly and Nina were having a private talk. At the Quartermaine home, Lois Cerullo and Maxie Jones discussed Nurse's ball plans with Lucy Coe. Lois expressed her delight that Maxie was Brooke Lynn Quartermaine's companion after Lucy had left. Maxie appeared intrigued when Lois made a prediction about Brooke Lynn requiring extra assistance. Meanwhile, Brooke Lynn informed Tracy about what happened to Martin Gray, and how Lulu Spencer learned about the baby boy she had given up for adoption. Although Lulu felt the father should know the truth, Tracy did not believe Brooke Lynn should question her actions. Tracy did wonder if Brooke Lynn regretted her adoptive decision. Brooke Lynn discussed not being ready to be a mother as a teenager, noting that Lois was the only person she told, though she recently discovered that Lois had told Gloria Cerullo. Tracy wondered if Brooke Lynn would try to find her son, but Brooke Lynn said the only way they'd reconcile was if he came looking for her instead. Brooke Lynn was on edge when she chatted with Maxie, who was taken aback when Brooke Lynn pressed her to choose a side. Maxie considered both Lulu and Brooke Lynn to be her best friends, but Brooke Lynn believed Maxie needed to pick between the two as the disagreement escalated. When Lois saw Tracy alone later, she demanded to know where her great-grandson was. Despite Dante Falconeri's attempts to persuade her otherwise, Lulu refused to give up on creating the adoption story. Lulu continued insinuating that she knew more about Brooke Lynn than Dante, but he suspected something else was going on. Dante said that Lulu was still in love with him, but did not explain how he knew. Lulu couldn't dispute it and assumed Dante was still in love with Sam McCall, but he said he was still in love with Lulu as well. At the campfire, Danny Morgan persuaded Rocco Falconeri to buy some drinks to fit in with the college crowd. Rocco felt uneasy when some girls appeared, but Danny tried to help him flirt. Danny left to play glow-in-the-dark volleyball, while Rocco remained behind. Rocco passed out alone after drinking the drugged punch, and he was subsequently found spread out on the ground. Next, Vaughn returned from a swim and persuaded Emma Scorpio Drake to join him and Giovanni Gio Palmieri for a swim, so they stripped down to their underwear. Jocelyn Jacks removed the thumb drive from Emma's shorts, but she did not have time to replace the corrupted version before Emma completed swimming. That created a hiccup in Jocelyn's plans, so she chastised Vaughn for not keeping Emma entertained long enough and brainstormed ways to plant it on her. Jocelyn accidentally bumped into Danny, which startled him, but she advised they both be quiet and pretend they were never there. Danny was fine with it and took off, so Jocelyn told Vaughn that he would not be an issue. Emma later inquired about Jocelyn's conversation with Vaughn. According to General Hospital previews, Jocelyn will continue to find herself in difficult situations as a result of her WSB mission, so keep an eye out. According to General Hospital spoilers on Monday, May 5th, Willow Corinthos will question her decision to believe Drew Kane, while Danny Morgan is dealing with a Rocco Falconeri emergency. On Monday's GH episode, Lulu Spencer will express surprise at Dante Falconeri's confession. Dante stated that while he still loves Sam McCall, he still loves Lulu. Lulu will admit that was probably the last thing she expected Dante to say. Although Dante will not be ready to leap back into a reunion with Lulu, she may find enough hope to make a prediction that it will happen eventually. In the interim, Dante and Lulu may receive updates about Rocco's latest problem. Danny will come find Rocco on the beach now that he has passed out from the drugged punch. Danny will try to rouse up Rocco, but he may not be successful. Will Danny have to call for aid, exposing his college bonfire attendance in the process? Emma Scorpio Drake will be distraught over her misplaced thumb drive. Jocelyn Jax was unable to retrieve Emma's thumb drive from the pocket of her shorts before her return, but she may plant it nearby to make it appear as if Emma dropped it. Emma should be relieved that she found the thumb drive with her extra credit assignment for Professor Henry Hank Dalton, which could determine whether or not she gets the research assistant position. Jocelyn is hoping to harm Emma's chances, so let's see if the strategy she devised with Vaughn works. Brad Cooper will supposedly decide he's had enough of doing Portia Robinson's dirty work for little pay. Portia is allowing Brad to keep his job, but he will seek greater perks for the risks he is taking and will appear on Monday's show to collect them. Willow will question if she's an idiot for trusting Drew's version of the story. Willow believes Drew was drugged after discovering ketamine in his bloodstream. Willow, on the other hand, will basically ask Nina Reeves if she is being silly by allowing Drew to pull the wool over her eyes. Nina will be put in a difficult position, because she is responsible for Drew's embarrassing situation. Other General Hospital spoilers state that Drew will reassure Max Scorpio as he investigates who set him up. As soon as I know you will, Drew says Mac in Monday's preview video. Drew will most likely try to show Tracy Quartermaine is responsible, because she is the last person he remembers seeing before all of the Jacinda turmoil. Tracy will criticize Lois Cerullo over Brooke Lynn Quartermaine's adoption, accusing her of having selfish reasons in way she handled it. Lois will keep Tracy's great-grandson's identity a secret, because Tracy would be devastated if he discovered he was Giovanni Gio Palmieri. Carly Spencer will have an emotional conversation with someone, and give them important advice. You're gonna regret it for the rest of your life, a heartbroken Carly says in Monday's preview clip. It appears that Carly will be in the boathouse when she issues this warning. Thus it could be part of a lecture for Danny following the bonfire incident. It could be Carly's attempt to guide Danny away from underage drinking, and even worse consequences. Regardless, General Hospital spoilers indicate that Danny will end up in hot water sooner or later, so stay tuned for more dramatic developments. The complicated web of relationships and rivalries in Port Charles took another dramatic turn when Drew Kane's actions accidentally put Tracy Quartermaine at the heart of a bombshell accusation. She was the top suspect in a dangerous drugging scheme. The consequences from this disclosure shook the community, straining ties and shattering trust. Meanwhile, Carly Corinthos, ever the protecting force in her circle, sent a strong warning to Nina Reeves, indicating that their feud was far from finished. This latest incident exacerbated the existing breaches in Port Charles's social fabric, increasing concerns about loyalty, dishonesty, and the extent people will go to defend their own interests. Drew Kane, famed for his smart mind and unshakable tenacity, has been working tirelessly to unearth the truth behind the town's recent spate of unexplained drug crimes. His inquiry took him down a route full of unforeseen twists, and the evidence he discovered pointed uncomfortably to Tracy Quartermaine. Tracy, a tough and astute member of the Quartermaine dynasty, was no stranger to scandal, but being implicated in something as heinous as drugging was a serious accusation, even for her. Drew's findings had far-reaching ramifications, not just for Tracy's reputation, but also for the Quartermaine family's position in Port Charles. The Quartermaines had always been a formidable force, but scandal had a way of weakening even the most established dominance. Tracy was upset by the accusation. She'd spent years navigating the perilous waters of family politics and corporate machinations, but being labeled a criminal was too much. Her sharp tongue and quick wit were on full display as she categorically denied any connection and accused Drew of having ulterior purposes. Was this a genuine error on his part? Or was there something more deliberate behind his actions? Tracy was not one to take such charges lying down, and she made it known that she was prepared to fight back with everything she had. The Quartermaine matriarch had been through innumerable wars, and she was not ready to let this one damage her legacy. As word of Tracy's apparent participation circulated, sentiments in Port Charles varied. Given Tracy's history of deceptive conduct, some assumed the worst, while others found it difficult to fathom her taking such drastic measures. The Quartermain family, who were never known to show a united face in times of difficulty, found themselves divided. Some members supported Tracy, dismissing the claims as false, while others privately questioned if they were true. The internal strife simply fueled the flames, making it more difficult for Tracy to clear her name. Meanwhile, Carly Corinthos, who had a complicated history with Drew and Tracy, kept a watchful eye on the brewing drama. Carly had always been passionately protective of those she loved, and she wasn't going to let anyone, especially Nina Reeves, take advantage of the upheaval. Nina, whose turbulent relationship with Carly had been characterized by betrayal and hatred, found herself once more in Carly's crosshairs. Carly's warning to Nina was delivered with her characteristic ferocity and barely veiled contempt. She made it apparent that Nina was misguided in believing that the current instability would provide a chance for her to meddle or control. Nina, who had experienced fighting before, was not easily intimidated. Her own conflicts with Carly had toughened her, and she was not prepared to back down just because of a warning. Nonetheless, Carly's words had weight, and Nina knew better than to underestimate her. The anger between the two ladies had been smoldering for years, and this last confrontation only exacerbated their continuing feud. With so much on the line, personal vendettas, family legacies, and reputations, neither woman was willing to back down. As the crisis worsened, everyone wondered what would happen next. Will Drew's evidence stand up to scrutiny, or will Tracy deconstruct his case and prove her innocence? And with Carly and Nina embroiled in their own private conflict, how much collateral damage could their rivalry cause? Port Charles had always been a place where secrets thrived and loyalties were tested, but the latest crisis appeared to be pushing everyone to their breaking point. The stakes had never been greater, and the impact from Drew's inquiry and Carly's warning promised to reshape relationships in unexpected ways. In a place where trust was scarce and betrayal was never far away, the only certainty was that nothing would ever be the same again. Willow asks if she is an idiot for believing Drew. Willow sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone screen with her fingers lingering over the keyboard. Drew's message glared back at her. Another explanation and vague assurance that things would improve. She'd heard it all before. Apologies, pledges that this time would be different, but she still fell for it. She let out a deep sigh as she flung her phone onto the mattress, her mind racing with worry. Am I an idiot for believing him? The question nagged at her, unwilling to let go. She had placed her trust in Drew numerous times, only to be disappointed each time. Each time, she convinced herself that maybe this was the time he'd finally follow through. That maybe this was the time he'd show her that her faith in him was justified. However, she was well aware of the trend. She remembered the first time Drew had disappointed her. It had been something minor, a missed date, a forgotten promise, but she had brushed it aside. Everyone makes mistakes, she assured herself. But tiny disappointments grew into larger ones, forgotten intentions became broken promises, and apologies became meaningless words. And yet she remained. Willow's pals cautioned her. He's not going to change, they'd stated. You deserve better. She knew they were correct, but something kept dragging her back. Perhaps it was the way Drew looked at her when he said he meant it this time. Perhaps it was the recollections of the good times, the laughter, the late-night discussions, the rare occasions when he came through. It was difficult for her to walk away after seeing glimpses of the person she imagined him to be. But now, sitting alone in her room, she felt the weight of her own frustration. How many chances was too many? How many times might she be disappointed before accepting the truth? She took up her phone again and began going through their texts. Every "I'm sorry" and "I'll do better" blend together. Had she been naive? Was she just deceiving herself into thinking things would ever change? The hardest thing was the shame that accompanied it. She knew better. She wasn't a gullible person who believed every lie she heard. She had always prided herself on being intelligent, independent, and capable of seeing through other people's BS.